Okay, sir. Uh, Sir, so everyone, welcome everyone. We'll be starting now. A very good afternoon to our guest, Dr. Sarath Kumar, and all the research scholars who have joined. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker, who is going to talk to us on performing and reforming leaders, opportunities for new faculty members in the emerging universities in India. In this topic, it is very important for all us scholars and it attracts all our attention because most of us aspire to become professors of the eminent universities. Uh, Instead of that, the responsibilities and the challenges of the job are alien to all of us. In today's seminar, some light will be shed on what the universities expect from their faculties and how we can be more ready to handle it. Our speaker today is an assistant professor and head of department at Department of Business and Management, Institute of Advanced Research, Gandhinagar. He is also an alumnus of our school who received his doctorate degree in 2019. He is the author of several research papers in some of the most reputed journals and conferences. So everyone, join me in welcoming Dr. Sarath Kumar. So, sir, first we'll like to start by some words from you about uh, this seminar and returning to our school after such a long time.
Thank you, Aftab,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and good afternoon, all. So,
Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon.
Good
How are
afternoon,
you?
sir.
How are you?
I am fine, sir.
So, probably some of you know me.
Yes, sir.
So, I was there till March 2019. So, Aftab was there, and some of the senior students are also there. So, really, it was a very nice journey at IIT Kharagpur. I have started my journey at IIT Kharagpur in August 2010 as a project trainee in TreeMap. That is the called Technology Refinement and Marketing Program. It was a project and that was intended to help the innovators and entrepreneurs, those who have got some product in their hand, but they are yet to commercialize it. So I was working there in TreeMap project and I worked for that project in 4.5 months. Then I joined the TVI project. That is the Technology Business Incubation Project. So before starting my actual talk, you should know the background of that talk. So what is the role of faculties and how you can transform the university and any system as a young faculty member there. So most important thing is the learning. Whatever I have gone through in IIT KGP and other institutions, that was the most important part of my academic journey and how we, I would like to say we, it means other scholars were also there in Rajendra Mishra School of Engineering Entrepreneurship. And then we had a good chance to set up the Rajendra Mishra School of Engineering Entrepreneurship. Probably some of you know that how we have started the Rajendra Mishra School of Engineering Entrepreneurship and how that learning is going a background knowledge and going to play in background knowledge and your role and responsibilities and how you can understand the emerging opportunities while working in a institute like RMSOEE. So how we have started it, that is very important. We have started our institution in 2010. I am talking about RMSOEE. It was passed in July 2010 in a Senate meeting, and then we have asked to recruit at least 20 students in Rajendra Mishra School of Engineering Entrepreneurship for the dual degree program. That was the BTech as well as MTech Entrepreneurship. So two of my colleagues, those are senior to me, that is Amrita, Dr. Amrita and Dr. Puneet. They have used their network in our hostels, all the UG hostels, IIT KGP, and they have collected almost 200 to 300 students for a seminar where our director, Professor Acharya, were there and Professor Durvesh Biswas, and they have tried to convince the student that entrepreneurship would be a good career path for engineering students. So it was the activity in July 2010, and I have joined the institute in August 2010. And then the actual learning was started with the Rajendra Desai School of Engineering and Entrepreneurship. How we have created resources for RMSOE, that was a very important factor in my career. And of course, that is the actual learning and how we can make ourselves sustain in any emerging universities by using those knowledge that is important. So very good afternoon to all of you. And of course, I will be reciting the journey of RMSOE, Science and Technology Entrepreneur Spark IIT Kharagpur, Technology Business Incubation Project IIT Kharagpur, and then SRIC, a sponsor research and industrial consultancy IIT Kharagpur, and the knowledge gained at different department like industrial and management. Industrial engineering department was there earlier. It was industrial engineering department. Now it's a systems engineering department there in IIT Kharagpur. Then the Vinod Gupta School of Management and HSS department. So I have gone through the various courses there in RMSOE and HSS department and the industrial and system engineering department. There were different courses, and if you wanted to know, all those are very funny courses. I never gone through streamlined courses in only one direction. I have gone through the entrepreneurship courses IIT Kharagpur. I have gone through the network and project management courses, engineering asset management, then the healthcare innovation entrepreneurship in healthcare. That was the ISWT course at IIT Kharagpur. The research methodology course at HSS department, and several other courses and several short-term courses at BG SHOM. One very good course was there, and that was the short-term course that is called the sustainable development. So all those are very good courses, and they have added value in my knowledge and my recent career. And the most importantly, the role of our teachers. All the teachers are there in IIT Kharagpur from our own department and from HSS department, from BG SHOM, and from industrial and system engineering departments. And several other teachers are also there whom we used to interact for different projects and learning opportunities. So Aftab, thank you for inviting me, and it would be a
Thank you,
very
sir.
nice journey for next 1 hour. Maybe that depends on your question answers. What are the
Thank you.
queries you are having
Yes,
with students? Actually, Aftab requested me to give a talk about the researcher's journey, and it was a discussion 2 weeks earlier, and we talked about half an hour. What is the role and responsibility of research scholars and early career in any universities? How a research scholar is going to convert himself in a role of faculty and then administrator? And we talked about the research opportunities available in IITs and other private universities. And then I shared my knowledge and experience with Aftab and convinced him that if you are a research scholar, you are staying there in IIT KGP, so you have very good opportunity to learn about the research there. But what remains is we had to learn about the other universities, those who are beyond the boundary of IIT and IIT system. Most of the research scholar IIT KGP or any IIT system, they know about the IIT system, they know about the IM system, NITs and other central universities. But what about the other universities? If you go through the researcher profile at IIT Kharagpur, at any point of time, we will have 1500 to 2000 research scholars in campus. And of course, all those are not going to get the postdoc opportunities in foreign country and faculty position in the IITs, NITs and IIMs. But we can get the leadership role in other universities. I am not talking about the faculty position. That is important. You are going to join as an assistant professor. But what about the other skills? That is very important, and that you have learned during your PhD career. Of course, you are learning there and you have the good experience about your PhD journey. And that is very important to deal with the emerging opportunities in any institution. Being a research scholar, what we have learned there, we have learned how to do the research, how to interact with other people, how to define the research boundary, how to accept the questions. That is the most important learning in IIT KGP. Answering question is not a big deal, but understanding questions, taking questions from our teachers and colleagues, that is very important. And I took more than 8 years to learn all those. Even at the last day of my PhD program, that was the defense viva. I learned lot of things from Bhaumik sir, Rambabu sir, Titas ma'am is there, Mamuni ma'am is there, Manoj sir is there, and then Bhaumik sir is there, and PPT sir. There were some questions that was asked by the examiner and that I was supposed to answer in the defense viva. So the first question took me 45 days to understand what is the question. I talked several times with Rambabu sir, then Bhaumik sir, and they have suggested me first you should learn the research papers. The question was, since we have gone through the simulation and modeling process and we have used the system modeling, why not we have taken up the time series modeling? That was a simple question, but it took more than 45 days to understand the question and then how to answer it. And the research paper was shared by Rambabu sir, and then some of the knowledge is shared by Bhaumik sir. So how to understand that question, that is the important part of my journey. Those three questions were asked by examiner, and how to understand, how to respond those questions, and how to answer those questions. And Aftab was there in my defense viva, and it was rightly asked by the examiner that, Sarad, you are to answer one question. So that's the journey. Being an academician, we may not answer all those questions in our defense viva, not possible always, but the good answer is, sir, we have tried to learn it. We have gone through the n number of research papers and I tried to learn this question. And so far my answer is this, but again, I will be learning. So it was my defense viva. And at that time, I learned how to take the questions, how to accept the questions. That is the most important part. Then it took almost 6 months to get the invitation from different universities about the facultyship. And I have gone through 3 viva process, that is the interview. And everywhere it was a presentation, that is your PhD thesis. So in general, they assign you 15 to 20 minutes to present your PhD thesis, and then 5-minute question answer session. But eventually your Q&A session will go for more than 1 hour. It will always be there. They will give you 5 minutes, but they will ask you n number of questions, and it would take more than 1 hour to answer all those questions. So I have participated in 3 different institutions for the facultyship, and then I have got an opportunity over here, that is the Institute of Advanced Research, Gandhinagar. Here also I have presented my thesis. So what is the role of your research career as a researcher in IIT KGP? They are going to ask you why you are doing this research, who are the people, those, and they will be benefited by your research. What is the boundary line of research? What is the future research? All those are very important. Believe me, no one is going to ask you about the literature review. In early days, we were very energetic to talk about the literature review. That is very important to define your research, and that is also very important to write your thesis. But if you are going to interview process, they are going to take your presentation on the basis of your objective, selection of methodology, your findings, discussion, and what are the probable application of your research. That is the most important part in any interview process. After your presentation session, you will be there for personal interview. So from here onwards, your academic input is very important, because being a research scholar, it is expected that we will be talking about our research. But in a personal interview session, they are going to ask you what are the subjects you are comfortable with. You will be teaching UG and PG program. So that is very important. Being a researcher in Central University in IIT system, actually when it's come to writing a thesis, we have already forgotten our coursework. Nothing in our mind. And if you are there in interdisciplinary department, again, it's a challenging work because your BTech is different, your MTech is different, then your PhD is different. Now the question is, what are the subjects you are comfortable with teaching in UG, PG and PhD program? So that is very important. And that was the most important point when I was talking with Aftab, how we should prepare about the interview process. So dear students, you must go through some of the courses. You must remember some of the courses when you are going for interview process. Again, in the interview process, they will again ask you what is the role of your research knowledge in teaching. How research is going to help us in teaching, because research is not going to generate the revenue. Teaching is the only option where you can get the revenue. And the second most important question is, if you are teaching one subject in UG, a same subject in PG, so how to transfer the knowledge? Because the students are of different level. So teaching entrepreneurship in UG classes and teaching entrepreneurship in PG classes. What are the boundaries? What are the offering? What are the learning objectives? How we are going to deliver? What would be the learning outcomes? That is important. And of course, we are going to start our career as an assistant professor. When you are going to finish your PhD, you will be going for assistant professor position in most of the cases. Some of us will go for the postdoc position. And some people are more energetic towards getting a postdoc position in foreign countries. That is also very important, because if you wanted to have some very good teaching opportunities in IITs, IIMs and other universities, they are mostly going to shortlist people from foreign universities. Now, so what is leadership for us? Whatever I have talked till now, that is important. Mostly we know it, but the people in private university as well as the government university and new universities, they are looking for teacher as well as leaders. So what is the role? What is the responsibility? That is important. So I will be talking, but you can ask me questions anywhere. I am available. So far, do we have any question?
Sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. I have written in the chat box. If someone has any question, they will write in the chat box, and
Okay.
from there we can take the questions.
Okay, fine. So I have joined here in Institute of Advanced Research, Gandhinagar, and right now I am talking about my journey, teaching journey, post PhD teaching journey. That is important. So I have joined over here as assistant professor in Department of Business and Management, and I was interviewed for the entrepreneurship courses. And the most important question was, what is entrepreneurship? How to teach entrepreneurship in UG classes? How to teach entrepreneurship in PG classes? How we are going to transfer the knowledge in different levels? And here, since we are running business department, engineering department, and science department, and everywhere we are offering the entrepreneurship course. So how to teach entrepreneurship to the business students, engineering students, as well as science student. That was the most important question, and how to transfer the knowledge to different set of people. Then what are the boundary line? The last question was, what is engineering entrepreneurship and what is entrepreneurship? We RMSOA students generally talked about engineering entrepreneurship and basics of entrepreneurship. So President over here asked me, what is the boundary line of engineering entrepreneurship teaching in the classroom? Because he was also a people from entrepreneurship domain. His background is also industrial engineering and management, and so far he has awarded close to 40 PhD in the management area. Yeah, and he worked several universities as a capacity of assistant professor, associate professor, professor, dean of the program, pro vice chancellor of the program, and director of the program. So I have answered something funny that, sir, if we are teaching in classroom and we are talking about engineering entrepreneurship, so for us developing a business plan, I'm presenting in the classroom is a endpoint for entrepreneurship course. I don't know. He was satisfied there, but he also gave me a lot of suggestion that when we are teaching in entrepreneurship in the UG and PG classes, so we should be more clear about it. What is entrepreneurship development and what is engineering entrepreneurship? So that was the basic starting point for my teaching career. And I taught it for 6 months. And February 2020, I have taken up the role and responsibility of the academic coordinator. That was a challenging job for me because I have never been in the management education department. I have never gone through the management courses except the few of the entrepreneurship courses. So how to justify your role as a academic coordinator? That was very important. And here we are running UG and PG and PhD courses in our department, as the department business and management. So I have taken up that opportunity, worked with other faculty members, and then we have designed the new program that is about the BBA program. Although we were running a BBA program over here, MBA program over here, BCom and BA in economics. But with the help of other faculty member, we have developed the new scheme for BBA program, that is the Bachelor of Business Administration. Basically, that was the initiation of academic administration. There onwards, I played that role for the 13 months till this 31st January 2021. I worked for the BBA program, MBA program, Executive MBA program, and the PhD program as a capacity of academic coordinator with the help of other faculty members. Here we are having with different program leaders. Program leaders means program leader is the boss of any program. Like we are running MBA program, so we have got one program leader. We are running executive MBA program, so we have got one program leader about the executive MBA program. So basically, program leader is the head of that program. So in four different program, we have 4 different program leaders. One leader for one program. That is the BBA program, one program leader, MBA program, one program leader, executive MBA program, one program leader, and then for the BCom and BA economics, we have one program leaders. And all those are the specialized people in the management domain and economics. Whoever is looking after the economics program, they have got BA, MA, and PhD in economics. And others, whoever is looking after the MBA program and BBA program, basically they are MBA plus PhD. So we have to work with those 4 people, and again we are having with one academic coordinator. Excuse me. So it's very difficult to work with different people if you don't have the management background. It's very hard to work in different programs because most of us have joined RMSOE with our background of engineering education, BTech and MTech. We are getting training in management research. We will be faculty there in management program, and we have to teach in the management programs. But our background knowledge is not there in the management program. So people like us and their background is well acknowledged in IIT system and IIMs, but not in the other universities who are running through the UGC norms. The institution who are going through the UGC rules and regulation, they have to have the faculty with a streamlined background. Streamlined means in same discipline, UG, PG and PhD. Though we heard about that since you are a university, you can hire people from different area. Of course we can hire, but you cannot justify always. You can hire 1 and 2 people, but you cannot hire 100% people from engineering domain to teach management. It's very difficult. But on the basis of specialized knowledge, your research background, your publication, we can hire people. We are running a lot of interdisciplinary courses, so we have a lot of people from different domain, and they are teaching management and in allied areas. Now I will be talking about the IAR. So far I talked about my experience. That was the how I have entered here and how I have started from RMSOE to IAR. So basically, Institute of Advanced Research, it was earlier known as Indian Institute of Advanced Research, Gandhinagar. It was a research institution, biotech research institution, and founded in year 2003. Foundation stone while led by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and Chief Minister Narendra Modi. We have started fully fledged research in 2006 in the biotechnology domain. So we have very good lab facility over here in biotechnology domain, and we are one of the best institutions in Gujarat for biotechnology teaching and research. So far, we have got almost 50% student of our strength in the biotech domain only. And in biotech domain, also we are teaching the entrepreneurship courses to the biotech students. Recently, we have got another opportunity to create bio-entrepreneurship. The program was initiated and designed by DBT Government of India, that is the Department of Biotechnology Government of India, and they have granted us 5 crore rupee for next 5 years to create bio-entrepreneurship. So we are running MSc Biotechnology through government grant. So there are two different programs. We are also running our own program, that is the MSc Biotechnology. But at the same time, from this year onwards, we have started the MSc Biotechnology that was intended to create bio-entrepreneurship, and that was supported by DBT Government of India. So we have granted by 5 crore rupee for next 5 years from 2021 to 2025-26. Further, we are having with engineering department and physical science department. So in physical science department, this year onwards, we have also granted by Government of Gujarat with a supercomputer, that is to enhance our computational facility. So as I have told you, we have started fully fledged research in biotechnology domain from 2006 onward, and parallelly we have started the PhD program in association with the Pune University and other university in Gujarat. However, in 2011-12, we have applied for the university recognition, and Gujarat Assembly has sanctioned the order that they have passed the legislation and they have sanctioned the order through Higher Education Department that Institute of Advanced Research Gandhinagar is an university right now. They can function like universities and they can give their own degrees. So we have started with MSc Biotechnology teaching in 2011-12. There onwards in 2014-15 we have started with MSc Physics and MSc Chemistry courses. And 2015 and 16 we have started our business department. And parallelly we have started our engineering department. So right now we have 3 schools over here. One is the School of Biosciences, where we are teaching biotechnology and microbiology courses. BSc, MSc, PhD program is there. The another one is School of Engineering and Physical Sciences, where we are running courses of engineering and physical sciences. So we are having a program in BTech, MTech, and then BSc, MSc in chemistry, BSc chemistry, BSc physics, BSc chemistry, and then MSc material science. So there are n number of courses in the engineering science and physical department, physical science department, and then the business department, where we are running BBA courses, that is the Bachelor of Business Administration 3-year degree course, then the MBA courses, that is the 2-year degree course, then the Executive MBA courses, that is also a 2-year degree course, and then PhD program in business department. So in all the department we are having with UG, PG and PhD courses. Right now we have got 55 students in the PhD program. We are a very new university and very small university in size. Around 800 students are there in our university, and since our inclination is towards research. So most of the students with research focus, they are joining us. Even in the UG PG program, in private universities, we are the most reputed universities for the PhD program in Gujarat state. However, for the MSc Biotechnology and PhD Biotechnology program, we are one of the best institutions in Gujarat. Our faculties are also there from IIT Central Universities and foreign universities. We have also a number of patents with our faculty members and with very good experience in the foreign universities. Their PhDs are there from foreign universities as well as postdoc experience from the foreign universities. So from a student side or from faculty side, we always focus on the quality. We have also entrepreneurship program over here. That is the practice of entrepreneurship, and we are getting 2 to 3 startups per year. That is the student startups. And we have been also recognized as the SSIP Center, a student startup innovation program. That was the Government of Gujarat initiative. So we are getting funds through DBT Government of India, DST Government of India, Gujarat Biotechnology Research Center, GVRC, that is for the research and entrepreneurship development in the biotech domain. Then Gujarat Council of Science and Technology, that is for the research. So in my topic, I talked about leadership. So what is that? After I was very keen to know, sir, you must explain us performing and reforming leaders. What is that? What are those people? Performing and reforming leaders. Opportunities for new faculty member in the emerging universities in India. So performing and reforming. Here, what we can say that performing means being a young faculty, you have to join the new university. You have to taught n number of courses. Here we are not teaching like IITs where you can get 2.5 courses and 3.5 courses. We are a private university. We are running with some faculty crunch. Is always there. So you have to teach more than 4 courses at a time in UG, PG and PhD program. So it's a very huge pressure. Most of the faculties over here are teaching 14 to 21 hours per week. That is the one side of your working. Parallelly, you have to go through various training program, your own research. Then you have to participate in n number of committees. So at one side, being a teacher, you have to perform, you have to deliver quality of teaching, you have to ensure how you are going to deliver your teaching, your learning, your teaching skills are important. Nowadays, since COVID, we are learning and teaching through online platform. So it's a huge challenge for us where majority of population are far away from Gandhinagar, and we are getting some problem with the network issue also. Sometimes students and parents complains us, sir, due to this lockdown, मेरा खर्चा बढ़ गया. I have got tuition and I have to use 600 rupees per month to recharge their cell phones for data only because you people are going through the online teaching and learning. So in universities like us, where you can get very good teachers, students and support from management, and you have to go through the very huge teaching load and research load is also there. So performance is a major criteria over here also. Like IITs, when it comes to appraisal, private universities are also going through your research, your teaching and your research. They are going to assess your research over here. What are the publications are there with you? Number of students with you? Do we have some new publication? Your research scholars are there. So what are they work on? What are their broad area of work? What are their proposed PhD thesis? Do we have some research paper with students? How we are going to guide them against a COVID situation? So we have some protocol and students are attending their labs, but we have to monitor them. There are some strict enforcements are there, like 9 to 5 you have to work over here. Post 5 no one is allowed to work. In some special cases we have to take the permission with registrar and president dean. Then you can work over here. But that is not like the normal days. Earlier we used to work over here in 24/7 environment. You can teach from 9 to 6, then you can work for your research. You can stay here, you can work for your research. We have got the very good research facilities in biotech domain and physical science domain. So we are getting a very good research publication in all those areas. So now the performing and reforming leaders. So performance is the one criteria and reforming leaders. So since we are new, so everything is new with us. If you are going to propose a new program, then you have to create entire document by yourself. We have to go through the n number of program with the different universities, IITs, IIMs, and all the foreign universities. Then you have to write a proposal. Since you have proposed a program, so you can take help from 1 or 2 faculty members, but you have to develop an entire program. You have to go through the board of studies process. You have to defend your course. You have to explain them. For each and every syllabus you have to talk about, and you have to give your inputs. That's why you are going to teach this course. How the students are going to get benefited by this program and the specific courses. Then if you are lucky enough to defend it in the BOS, then you have to go through the academic council. Again, in that council, there are n number of members from government universities, higher education department, UGC, all those are there. And then your own invited professors from different universities. Again, you have to save your proposal. You have to defend it. Basically, you have to defend it. Why you wanted to teach new course? Who are the people they are going to join you? Where are the resources? How you are going to create the resources? We are a private universities, so we don't have that much of fund. We cannot ask management to provide a fund. We cannot ask management to provide a new building, but you have to run the course. So everything you have to defend in the academic council meeting. You have to make them understand what is the necessity of new course. Then they will ask how you are going to hire the new faculties. Our existing faculties are capable to teach all those new courses. What are the teaching load right now? If we are going to propose and pass the new courses, so how many number of students we will be getting? Maybe 2 or 3 or 4 5 students in first year. Then for 5 students we have to assign 6 teachers at least. Then they are going to teach it. So huge pressure on the resources. Since we are a new university, so there are n number of committees. You have to have there in different committees. You have to take decisions. So that's an opportunity also. But since you are a part of decision making process, so again you have to justify everything. With your teaching loads, you have to do everything over here. Of course, you will be learning, and learning cycle would be very less. Within 2 and 3 years, you will be learning everything. But with the load of huge teaching, with the load of performance. And if you have some research scholars, then believe me, you will not get time for tea even. You cannot have tea. Because in COVID situation, they will come for discussions. They will give you proposal. They are coming with funny proposals. Here also, we are going through some strict timeline. That once a research scholar has joined us, they have to go through the coursework, and then within 1 year, 1.5 years, they have to submit the research proposal. So one side, you have to teach for 14 to 20 hours, maybe 21 hours. Further, you have to participate in project and dissertation. So in IIT system, most of the students are capable enough to work on the projects. Here, you have to work with them. You have to make them understand what is the necessity of projects. So in UG and PG, you have to work with the students for their projects. Submission guidelines are there. Submission time frame is there. So again, your load will be very high. Then some research scholars are there with you. So in coursework, you have to participate, you have to teach. Maybe on Saturday, Sunday, you will have to take the extra lecture for the coursework. Then their examinations. We are getting a major portion of students in PhD program from the Gujarat and other part of country. Right now it's COVID, so you have to manage all those. You have to talk to the people. If you are examination coordinator from department, you have to talk to all those people when they are comfortable to give the examinations. You have to arrange the examinations. If we are getting any case of plagiarism, all those things, so you have to arrange the interview like PI with 2 or 3 other examiners. You have to coordinate with the people. You have to assess them. Then in COVID situation, guidance is also a very tough task. They are staying there in Maharashtra since last 1 year. And that guy is assigned with you. He or she is your research scholar. So you have to take care of everything. Their STDs, their report writing, their conference paper, because they cannot visit over here due to COVID. So for each and every part, performance is there, and you have to reform things. You have to change the things. You have to propose things. What we have done in last year, now how we can grow, how we can improve ourselves related to courses and other administration part. So there are n number of opportunities in the private universities, but with little bit pressure than the IIT and NIT system. So we have gone through some of the leadership theory that is there, and you must have gone through. I'm not talking about that. So our theme is their leadership. So what is leadership? Aftab, what is leadership?
So leadership is the ability to means have all the people by your side and do a work that is to be done successfully, incorporating everyone with you.
Okay, so right now we are a research scholars. We have got the definition of leadership. Once you are an advisor, you have got 3 research scholars. Now what is leadership?
So we have to lead the careers or the work of the students of the research scholars also. Instead, with our work, not only our work but also the work of the others. So that's it.
आफ्ताब
Yes, sir.
एंड अदर स्कॉलर्स, आपके गाइड ने कभी ना कभी आपसे बोला होगा कि यू शुड नो योरसेल्फ.
Yes, sir.
दैट इज द लीडरशिप. पहले अपने आप को जानना है आपको. दैट इज द फर्स्ट पॉइंट ऑफ लीडरशिप. If we know ourselves, then only we can perform, then only we can reform, then only we can propose, then only we can implement, then only we can convince people to adopt the changes. We have to work with people, that you rightly said. We have to work with people. But first, we should know ourselves. What is our strength? What is our lacking? Where I am good and where I am not good? Where I am so-so? What are the things we should learn even after the PhD? So in post PhD, you need not to go through the coursework, but you have to learn. That is a learning. And again, the learning age. As a student of RMSO EE, I am always getting call, blessings on all those things by our respected teachers. That is also a learning. When I joined here, I get call from most of the teachers from RMSO and messages, everything. Email, WhatsApp message, SMS and call. By Rambabu sir, by Bhamik sir, by Mamuni ma'am, by Prabha ma'am, by call from Basab sir and all the staff member. Best wishes from PPD sir. So that is the actual learning. Once we have finished our PhD, our teachers are taking care of us. They are there in IIT, but they are calling us. What are the courses you are going through? What you are teaching nowadays? What is the career option there? Are we getting some new scholar? Are you getting some scholar for PhD program? How you are going to guide them? What are the experiences of your students? We are new. We have just finished our PhD, but we have to guide the people. We have to take care of our entire team. We are here, 10 people in our department. All the assistant professors are there. Most of them are senior with me. They are 4 to 10 years senior to me. So you have to learn how to work with the senior people in same capacity. You have to respect them. That is the learning. So what is the value addition? Whenever you are getting call from your advisor, that is the Bhavik sir, and you are getting lot of input from Bhavik sir. Maybe sometime you are getting call from your department head. Maybe sometime you are getting call from your senior. Maybe sometime you are getting call from your department research scholar representative. All those calls and attending those calls, responding those people, that is the learning. That is the actual learning. That is going to help us in the next level. What are the questions that were asked during your presentation, during your proposal seminar, during your synopsis, during your defense viva? And all those are very important because after one point of time, you have to ask the same question with other people in the capacity of assistant professor. Right now, most of us are writing a research paper. But within 1 year, 1.5 years, you have to evaluate the research paper of others. So that is the capacity building that you have to learn from your seniors and your teachers. How they are behaving with us. In line with all those inputs, you have to also behave with your students. And most of the RMS students are there and they are going to finish the PhD. Maybe 5 or 6 people are going to finish their PhD in this year. So they are in between 30 to 35. But whenever you will be joining the universities, you will be getting research students aged than you. They will come with 10 or 15 year experience. In government institution, in private institution, they will join you as a PhD program. Then the actual learning comes in our life. How we have worked there in RMSI, how we have worked there in our hostels, how we work for our research scholar day, how we were organizing the seminars for our seniors, maybe for juniors or maybe some other programs. So that is the learning and that is the leadership. There are n number of definitions for the leadership, but that is not going to help on the real ground. That is only for the examination purpose. In most of the time, we are writing those things in the examination. But how to take people, how to tackle them, how to manage them. Because in academics, time is also a T is the important factor. We have to finish it. Here in IAR, we have to finish PhD within 6 years. Whoever has joined us with some job experience, they are also there in job, but they are taking it some so manner. Okay, मैं आऊँगा. I have wrote something. I forwarded you. Please check it. But once they came to know that timeline is there, they have already gone through their 2 year, 2.5 year. Now they are behaving like an actual student. Seriously, they are coming here and they are discussing, they are getting a research paper, they are writing their research papers. So for us, so what is leadership? First thing is the knowing yourself. If we know ourselves, then the next important thing is rightly said by Aftab, that is the vision. Then the communication, how we are communicating people. Then we have to build trust with the people, our colleagues, students, administration. And then at last, we have to take some action. That is all about the leadership, and that is the definition. Of course, that is the definition there in books, but in practical ground, in real ground, the most important thing is we have to know ourselves. Then only we can perform, we can reform. Now, so what are the opportunities for the new faculty member, for the research scholars like you? So we have got two different type of opportunity in the new universities. First thing is, of course, the first thing is the teaching and learning. Here teaching is also important as well as learning is important. So whenever you are approaching some universities, you have to take care of some of the subjects. So we have to ready with 2 or 3 subjects. When I was there in IIT KGP, it was advised by Ram Babu sir that take some book, go there in library and read it. So I took project management book and I was there for 1 month in library. I have gone through that book and that helps me in the interview process. Because I have gone through 3 different courses in entrepreneurship. So somehow I have answered the questions in the entrepreneurship domain, but not necessarily always you are asked to teach the entrepreneurship courses. You have to teach other allied courses in the management. So at least we have to be ready with 2 and 3 subjects. That is very important. Since you have got a very good publication, that is the good thing about your selection for interview process. That is shortlisting. But in interview process, we have to come with the recent research. That is your PhD thesis. You have to present your PhD thesis, or maybe you have to present your recent published research paper. Sometime we can also present the working papers. That is also well acknowledged in the interview process. Now at next level, we freshers, many of us are facing huge challenge with the teaching skills. So whatever you wanted to teach, you have to have some knowledge in that area. Here in IAR, we are also getting very good candidate from USA and Europe. They join us as an assistant professor. They are very good in research. They are very good in research guidance. But when it's come to teaching, everyone is not as good as they are in their research. And there are different level of teaching over here in UG program, in PG program. So when it's come to performance, we have to know the teaching. We have to know few of the subjects. We have to teach them. Equally, we have to have some learning skills, because in very early stage of your teaching, we have to learn many more things. We have to read books. We have to read some online books. We have to prepare our notes, PPTs, written notes. We have to use the PPT as well as board. Marker board you have to use for your teaching. You have to convince the people. You have to take their questions. You have to answer their questions. Because teaching in IIT is totally different. I was there and I was participating with our faculty members, and sometime I was also discussing with the students. So the level of IIT students are totally different. In IIT classes, a teacher can say that I am not prepared. Now it's your turn. I am here, I am sitting on the chair, and today you have to come up with the discussion topic. And then you can start the discussion. Maybe you are prepared, but you can say that. Here you cannot say that. Not possible. However, we are lucky enough that we are here in a very good university. In majority of the colleges, you have to teach, if syllabus is there, you have to teach line by line whatever written in syllabus. But in IIR, that is not the necessity. Here you can change the things, you can teach it. Like IITs, here also you can update your syllabus and you can teach. Here in IIR, we can have different teaching modes. We can have different approaches for a single subject or maybe for different subject in the same class. But in other universities where the student performance and university ranking is most important than any other things. So you have to teach line by line whatever written in their syllabus, whatever syllabus provided by the universities, because if that college is not getting rank in the university, they will not get the admissions. So teaching entrepreneurship in Rajendra Mishra School of Engineering Entrepreneurship is totally different in teaching in private universities. In most of the time, we started our teaching and learning activity in RMSOE with some casework, where a student leader with the help of teacher were writing inputs from the students. And at last, we were allowed to discuss all those points. In RMSOE, we can have n number of guest faculties from our own institution and maybe from outside. But in private universities, you are allowed to have guest faculties, but not like a mainstream faculty. Here you have to take care of your subjects, and you will be getting students from different background. Some of the students with some regional language background, some are comfortable in Hindi, and some are comfortable in English. So we have to take Mediterranean approach to teach them English, Hindi plus some regional language. But all those are the early stuff in first year. Second year onward, they are also very clever. They learn English and they do anything. They can do anything. But what is the difference between a university and regular college? That is a major difference. If you are joining a university, you are independent for many more things. But if you are joining a private college, you are allowed to work on some fixed direction that is given by affiliated university. So when it comes to teaching, be prepared for 2 or 3 subjects. That is important. And believe me, in private universities, most of the people are also coming from renowned universities, foreign universities, IITs, IIMs, and state universities with very good PhD background, very good knowledge, very good publication. So shortlisting over here is also little bit tough. In my IIT KG time, what I was thinking that once we have got the PhD, we will be easily hired by some of the private universities. But situation has changed nowadays. People from foreign countries as well as our own countries, they are coming and they are joining the universities with very good publication background and very good knowledge. In some cases, they are having with some teaching experience. They are having with some industry experience. So nowadays, things have been little tough and competitive environment is there. But all those are there to train people like us, and we are getting good input from universities to convert ourselves in an academician and academic leaders. That's all from my side. I am available. You can call me anytime. Now question answers.
Thank you, sir. So we have some questions in the chat box. Myself had some questions, but during the discussion, we have already discussed those. So Somali has a question that if pursuing a PhD in entrepreneurship, is there an advantage or in a disadvantage in teaching professor? What type of advantage do we have or disadvantage that we have?
Okay, so I will recite my personal experience, but what is your background of UG and PG?
Somali, are you there?
Well, yes, sir. My UG and PG is in electrical engineering.
Electrical engineering.
Yes.
Okay, so what is my background? Myself, BTech in computer science engineering, MTech in nanotechnology, and did my project on the proteins and nanomaterials. Now I am teaching entrepreneurship to MSc Biotechnology students. So how I am starting my teaching? Because those people are from very specialized area, they are not going to listen you. Maybe sometime they are pre-assuming that learning entrepreneurship is a 100% wastage of our time. There are some students in the classroom. Now, how to teach them? So in the very first lecture, I am starting with my own background. So I am BTech in computer science, MTech in nanotechnology, that is the material science, and my project is protein and nanomaterial interaction, and I have used the characterization technique, that is the neutron scattering. The moment I explain the proteins, why I have taken that protein, that is called the bovine serum albumin. That protein is extracted from the cattle's blood. What are those nanomaterials? What was the result? What are the potential application of that research? How that is going to help us to in drug delivery process and drug design? So that is the connect with biotechnology people. Now they know you are from biotech domain also. You are from bioscience domain. Since you have worked for 6 or 7 months in biotech domain, you have come up with some new knowledge in biotech domain that you wanted to design a drug, but due to lack of time, due to project requirement, you have gone through only 5 and 6 months, and you have tested the different nanomaterial and their interaction with the proteins. So that is the connect. Whenever you are learning entrepreneurship, doing your PhD in entrepreneurship, so you have an opportunity to get a wider pool of students. If you are a BBA, MBA, and BCom, MBA, and PhD, of course, you can teach entrepreneurship in the business classes. But when you are going to the physical science classes, when you are going to bioscience classes to teach entrepreneurship, your background is going to help you. That is the connect. That is the connection in that classroom. Now they will be listening you. So that is my experience. So coming from different background and teaching entrepreneurship, that is an advantage. Okay.
Sir, is this advantage available with the selection? I mean, in the interview position also?
Sorry.
When we are giving an interview in an institution,
Yes.
so will this be an advantage or disadvantage?
That you have
I mean, from
see,
students' perspective.
that you have to market itself. Okay? That is the marketing skill of yours. You have to market it. What is your strength? That is very important, because whenever you are going to join a institution, of course, you are the most eligible people who are going to teach the innovation and entrepreneurship. So in our country prospect, whatever we wanted to teach in innovation and entrepreneurship, that is mostly about the technology entrepreneurship. So you have to convert those opportunity towards your, because you have got the UG PG in engineering side and your PhD in the entrepreneurship side. So you have to get that opportunity, grab that opportunity, rightly saying that I am the most eligible person over here because I know the technology and I know the entrepreneurship. So I am the connect between these 2 points. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we will take the next question. I will request Arpita to ask the next question. She had a question.
Hello.
Yes, Arpita.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It is so good to see you and hear from you after such a long time.
Thank you. It's more than 2 years.
Yeah, it is more than 2 years. So I was just wondering, actually, we are from entrepreneurship department, right? But a few colleges have a separate dedicated department dedicated to entrepreneurship. So
Yes.
in most of the cases, we ended up, applying in HSS or management SOMs, basically.
Yes.
So how we should prepare ourselves for applying in those departments? Is there any special kind of focus in publication in interdisciplinary or management or HSS related field, or just to publish paper or write our own thesis and prepare the subjects which we can teach in schools?
Arpita, see how we are shortlisting. That is the most important criteria. We
Yes.
always look for your background. Okay? That is your UG and PG. Now your PhD. What are the connect between all those education, your degrees? Take. Of course, your publication is going to play a major role in your shortlisting process. Okay? And once you are shortlisted, so there are some funny ideas to write your CV. I am not good at that, but you have to write in such a good manner that people should take it in positive way. So you have gone through 2 or 3 courses in entrepreneurship. So first you should write it, okay, all those other courses. So that is the connect point. Second point is you must write your publication. That is the connect point. Fine. Now, what are the courses you are comfortable with? In majority of cases, people are not writing that they are going to teach these subjects. Like probably you have gone through the one course that is the product development. That's a very good course. I was also there in product development class. So many times I'm taking input from the project development course and teaching entrepreneurship. So that is a very good course. How you are going to convince people? What is product? How a 200 ml Pepsi and 330 ml Pepsi is same product or different product? That is your knowledge. That is the value addition. Most of the people don't know about it. For them, that is the Pepsi. That is not the product. And again, we are getting 500 ml Pepsi bottle, 600 ml Pepsi bottle, 750 ml Pepsi bottle, 1.5 liter Pepsi bottle, 2.25 liter Pepsi bottle. All those are Pepsi, but different products. So it depends on you how you are writing your CV and how you are able to translate the knowledge in different classes. What I talked in my early part of lecture, that people are going to ask you, since you have come up from the engineering background, but we are a perfectly management institution. So what is your value addition in our institution? That is important. So the most important thing is teaching. When it comes to teaching, you have to have some good approach for teaching. So you must go through 1 or 2 books in advance. Okay, that is going to help you, because when I came here in IAR, prior to that I have interviewed by some institute is there in Gandhinagar, that is the Indian Institute of Public Health. They are teaching public health and they were also looking for the entrepreneurship faculty. But at that time I was not ready. I was not mentally ready that I should say, okay, I'm ready to teach the entrepreneurship. I was looking for some incubation manager job. But a very senior guy asked me, if we wanted to offer some entrepreneurship course, will you be comfortable to teach? Then I said, sir, right now I came for this post, so I'm not sure about teaching. But it all your knowledge, your background, and your marketing efforts. So Arpita, your BTech is there?
Yeah, BTech MBA.
BTech and MBA. So you are a very good combination for teaching entrepreneurship. But entrepreneurship is the only one course. Your background is more towards the teaching general management courses, like general management, e-commerce, that is there, then project management, network management, strategy, all those are the courses. So if you are offering them 2, 3, 4 courses, they are going to hire. Now, the next level value addition is your research papers. Recently, you have published a very good paper. So those papers are important. Further, you can say that I am ready to guide research scholars. My next level of ambition is being an assistant professor. I am going to teach 2 or 3 papers. That is fine. But I am available to work, to research in the interdisciplinary areas. So of course, I will be getting some research scholar and I would be happy to guide them, to supervise them. Because in most of the private university, except us, 1 and 2 university is there in Ahmedabad. In Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar, there are more than 30 universities. Public and private universities are there. But 2 or 3 private universities are doing research. Rest of others are doing teaching. We are well known for the research program. So we are getting less number of students in the teaching, because what people are thinking that उधर जाओगे तो research करना पड़ेगा, there is no teaching. So we are getting very good research scholars, but we are getting less number of students for the teaching program. We are getting very good number of students in the biotechnology program, because we are the well acknowledged institution by DBT, DST and all those institutions. So answering your question, that is already there in your CV. You have to write 2 or 3 most important things. That I am comfortable with teaching this subject, this subject, this subject. Before going to interview process, you must go through their website, take their syllabus and prepare it. And reading book is going to help you, because research scholars are most specialized in their research, in their methodology. But that is not going to help you that in teaching. In teaching, you need to have superficial knowledge about many more things. You have to say the Panchtantra stories, because you are going to teach the entrepreneurship. You are not going to teach the finance. You are not going to teach the human resource management. So in entrepreneurship teaching, you have to have n number of story, starting from Ratan Tata, Dhirubhai Ambani and everywhere. And what are the new startup emerge in the COVID situation, that you can get in the regular newspaper. Dainik Bhaskar, Times of India, Anand Bazar, everywhere you can get it. So you have to take the cutting and share in the classroom. That is going to help you. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So there are no more questions in the chat box, but if anyone else wants to ask any question,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, that one of my query that you have answered, that those who have MBA, especially MBA, and they can choose any paper in their interview, or they can say they are little with entrepreneurship only.
Sorry, Aftab, if you can recite it.
Yes. Okay, sir. So I'm saying that those who have MBA
Yes.
in their PG program,
Yes.
they can choose any paper. While the interview, they can say that they can choose any paper related with their MBA program, or they have to choose any paper related with entrepreneurship only.
See, if you are comfortable enough with your MBA subjects, you can go through. But of course, you cannot ask for the finance program, because you have gone through the finance paper in your MBA program. But right now, your PhD is there in entrepreneurship. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So you have to go through the general management courses plus entrepreneurship courses. That is going to help you. The moment you will say, I am going to teach marketing, I am going to teach finance, so they will ask you more specialized questions in that area. So
Okay.
for early career, you have to choose the some of the subjects related to your PhD plus your MBA, that you can comfortably teach in the classroom. Okay?
Sir, is there any benefit of NET or JRF certificate or anything when we are applying for
Yes,
management?
yes, that is there. That is there. You will be get shortlisted by any of the universities, because getting GET and NET certificate is most important in any program.
Like, my one question is that I have a NET JRF in management and commerce too. So in commerce, I am domain in the finance, and when it is management, I am dealing with all those things. So I am
Okay.
asking, can I apply there in both portion, or I have to choose any one little with entrepreneurship?
No. See, you have two different NET certificate. Okay,
Yes, sir.
in commerce and in
Management.
general management.
Yeah.
Fine. So your question is, should I apply for both the program? That is the commerce,
Yes, sir.
teaching commerce and teaching management.
Yes, sir.
See, your PhD is the most important aspect of your teaching program. Okay, that is the product. That is the value. Even you are comfortable to teach accounts, but your PhD there in entrepreneurship. So first people are going to hire you. They are going to shortlist you for the entrepreneurship program. Once you are shortlisted, once you have cleared the interview, once you have joined it, you can teach anything.
Okay.
Okay, because
Yes, sir.
whenever you are having with PhD in entrepreneurship program, but you are applying for the finance program, you are applying for the commerce, they will
Okay.
reject your application. They will reject your application.
Okay.
Because what is my intention? Why I am going to hire you? because you will be teaching in BBA, BCom, MBA program, as well as you will be supervising some of the research scholars.
Yes,
Fine.
sir.
So, being a head, I am going to ask you. First thing is the knowledge transfer in UGPG program. Then, how comfortable you are with the research program. If we are giving you some of the research scholar in entrepreneurship, project management, maybe in finance, how we are going to guide them.
Okay, sir.
So, it is the general expectation. Once you have cleared with your PhD, you are going to supervise a PhD student.
Okay.
So thinking in terms of your career, monetary term, and your safety of your life, that is the financial life. That is most
Okay.
important thing. But for employer, you are only giving value when you are teaching, when you are supervising the students, and you are contributing in the administration process. So all the three areas are most important area. Nowadays, it is very hard to hire people for teaching only.
Okay, sir.
So participating in the different activities in our own department, that has got the value. Once you are organizing a research scholars day, that is also a value in your life. Because what I will assume that that guy is very good in team activities. So here we are also going through some of the technical phase, business phase. So what I will think, hiring those people can help me to execute the business first, to execute the tech first. Since that guy is very good in executing first and doing activities, so he has got very good networking skills.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir. One more question, sir.
Yes.
Like I have seen most of the notification of faculty recruitment where I am seeing that they are saying that PhD with minimum 2 or 3 years experience. So that I am confused because I have joined the PhD just after passing MBA. So I am confused here how one can cope with these things
No, 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 no.
because
See,
I have
what is,
seen.
yes, yes. So what is that? That is the post PhD experience.
Yes, sir. So I
Now,
am asking that how one can get post PhD experience if all universities are saying they want PhD with 3 years experience.
no, no, no. See, even in IITs you can get in without any experience. That is the criteria for assistant professor. That is the permanent position. But prior
Okay.
to that position, we can have some contractual position. We can have some other position. That is the assistant professor grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. All those are different things.
Okay.
But see, if you are planning to join the IITs, NITs and central universities,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
then there is a value of thinking in terms of experience, assistant professor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you are capable enough to create something, why you are thinking about that?
Okay, sir. No, sir. Because I was this, I have gone through some of the notifications of some IIMs, IIT, or different B schools. They are simply mentioning that they want for assistant professor position. They have mentioned that
See, I have been there for interview at IMT Nagpur. Okay, and I was interviewed for more than 2 hours. I was very good in interview. I presented my research. All those things are very good because director called me personally and gave me lot of feedback about my presentation and personal interview. But what was the most important point? Those people are running MBA program. They are getting students from CAT examination, through CAT examination. They are getting experienced student in the MBA program, at least 1 to 3 year experience in the professional institutions. Now they fear to send me for teaching entrepreneurship in the MBA class because I am a fresher. So they told me, they have some experience, then come here because all the students we are getting, majority of students are there with some of the experience in engineering firms and other firms. So that is the criteria. When you are going to deal with the experienced people, you must have some experience. I am here since 1.5 years. I am teaching entrepreneurship. Now I am getting feel to how to teach. Earlier it was a reading and teaching, but that is not a teaching nowadays because everything is there in Google and your students and our students all are equal. They can access anything in Google. So teaching nowadays little bit tough. That's why they are asking for the experienced people, because you have to take the questions. In very first stage of my presentation, I told you, okay, what is the most important thing I have learned in the RMSOE? That is the accepting questions. Responding question is a different thing. Accepting question is a different thing. Even a BBA first year student will ask you many questions. If you are getting people, experienced people in MBA lectures, they are going to ask you n number of questions. So first thing is accepting questions. Then you have to respond it. Now the most important thing is my face. If I am not accepting it, there are 60 people in classroom. They can easily assess that sir is not experienced enough to get my questions. So that is not problem with the English or Hindi language. That is a problem with my own knowledge, my background, and how I am sustaining myself in the classroom. So that is the experience. That's why experience is important. But they are shortlisting freshers people. Even prior to your defense viva, they are shortlisting. They wrote it because they wanted to have some experienced people. Because what is the general perceptions? Once you have gone through 2 and 3 year teaching, you will be able to get any type of questions, n number of questions, and you can respond it. Then what will happen? The things will, like, that teacher is very cool, very calm. You can ask anything. He is responding well. He or she is responding well. We can get the answers from that teacher. But that is not going to harm the management, because I have taken up all the questions. I have resolved it. That is the first thing. Second thing is, in early career, you will be also participating in the administration. So in administration, you have to take care of you, your colleague, your students, entire university. That is a meeting. You have to participate in the decision-making process for each and everything. For the admission process, for the hiring process, for the recruitment, selection, for firing, everything. Some adverse conditions are there in campus, maybe in hostels. So you have to take care of all those. You have to respond to local administration. So all those things are there. That's why they are asking for the experienced people. But they are hiring freshers. Even prior to your PhD, they are hiring it. You need not to worry about it. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes. Any question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for answering all the questions. So, is there any more questions? So, if not, I would request all to open their cameras for a photo. I will request everyone to open their cameras for a photo.
सुहेल भाई आप उल्टा हो गए।
जुहेर अपने 22वें तले पे बैठा है। जुहेर का कॉलेज मेरे घर से दिखता है अर्पिता। इवन जुहेर का सिटिंग प्लेस मेरे घर से दिखता है। दैट इज 4 किलोमीटर फ्रॉम माय होम।
दादा से 1.5 साल में मुलाकात एक बार हुआ है।
अच्छा,
अब उसका ऑफिस नो उसका ऑफिस कुतुब मीनार से ज्यादा ऊंचा है। ओके
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Yes. So I have taken some photos. Has anyone else taken photo? Arpita di, could you take some photos?
अभी तक 2 क्लिक कर लिए।
Okay. Then we are done. We have some photos for the seminar. So
thank you Zuhair bhai also for joining.
So
सिंघाड़ा क्या हो गया?
yes sir.
सिंघाड़ा और
हाँ भैया।
अर्पिता
क्या हो गया भैया?
सिंघाड़ा और चाय।
अर्पिता এদিকে মাছ ভাত পাওয়া যায় না
হ্যাঁ,
সিঙ্গারা
হ্যাঁ,
अच्छा है।
I
কিছুই
got
পাচ্ছি
that
না
feedback.
বাঙালি দাদা আছে কিন্তু পাচ্ছি না
हाँ 3 दरवाजा थी के पावा जाबे
ये तो जुबेर भाई जाने।
उज्जवल दास सुन रहा है कहाँ पावा जाएगा
3 दरवाजा
आप जुबेर भाई के घर पे चले जाइए,
हाँ मैं गया
आपको
था
ढूंढने की जरूरत नहीं,
सिंघाड़ा।
मुझे मालूम है ना, वो
जुबेर-
लाएंगे।
जुहैर
अब फ्रिज में
जुहैर
रखा
के
है।
पास रहा इतना बड़ा बड़ा कप है 1-1 लीटर का 1 लीटर चाय देगा आपको आओ तो
नहीं,
भैया।
माछ भात जुबेर भाई लाके रेडी करके रखेंगे, उनको मालूम है कहाँ मिलता है।
आज रखा है, फ्रिज में रखा है, पका हुआ खाना है, आ जाइए।
वही ढूंढने
लेट
की
के आना
जरूरत
थोड़ा
क्या
दूर पड़ता है बस।
अर्पिता मैं जुहैर के कॉलेज में गया ना वो छुट्टी का दिन था
है।
तो एज यूजुअल सिक्योरिटी तो रोक देते हैं ना तो मैं ओला में जा रहा था तो मेरा ड्राइवर उतर के दौड़ के गया बोलने गया किसको रोक रहे हो ये भी सर है तो बोलता अरे सॉरी सर जाइए
रोकता ही नहीं, आप पहले से जुबेर भाई का नाम जोर जोर से 2 बार लेते ना, तो पहले से ही मतलब
नहीं तो यार देखिए आदत अभी भी वही है कि छुट्टी वाले दिन भी ऑफिस जाना है।
एंड जुहैर को आईआईटी वाली आदत हो गई है ना उधर जाके बैठना है चलो आफ्ताब थैंक यू किसी को
हाँ सो
किसी को भी कुछ भी पर्सनल असिस्टेंट
so
चाहिए
lastly,
मेरा फोन नंबर शेयर कर देना सबको ठीक है ओके यस
बिल्कुल सर so ये thank you Sarath sir for taking out a time for this talk and sharing with us your
Sure, all
experience
of us
and
will
sure
be-
all of us will be hello yeah sorry so I'm sure all of us will be taking away some valuable points from this talk. We learned some points like preparing ourselves for interview, how to approach teaching and leadership roles, what interviewers look books and lectures. You could never give this type of practical knowledge that is so important for our career. It can be gained only from our seniors and alumni who have already passed this phase. So we are very thankful to our alumni and particularly Sarath sir, who has never shied away from sharing their knowledge and experience with us. So thank you, sir. We wish you all success in future endeavors. Hope that we will invite you soon again. So thank you, sir. On this note, we will like to end this seminar. Thank you all.
थैंक यू
Thank you all for and thank you Zuhair bhaiya for joining too.
आफ्ताब रिसर्च स्कॉलर डे कब है
अभी कोरोना में कुछ नहीं हो रहा है।
कोई रिसर्च स्कॉलर डे नहीं है
कुछ प्लानिंग हो रहा था नहीं सर एक प्लानिंग हो रहा था वो कुछ लोग है उसके लीड तो देख रहे हैं
सो अभी
वो सर
डिपार्टमेंटल रिसर्च स्कॉलर रिप्रेजेंटेटिव कौन है
हाँ अनिमेश
इमेज दा
मिस्टर अनिमेश
अरे अनिवेश भाई
अनिमेश
मत चूको करा लो ऑनलाइन ही करा लो
I think he is there in the Animesh.
Yes. अनिवेश
अनिमेश था, अभी नहीं है।
अच्छा
अच्छा लगता है कट
ठीक है सो अर्पिता
हाँ सर
and
कुछ हो रहा है
आफ्ताब हाँ मतलब मैं बोल रहा हूँ किसी भी एक्टिविटी में चूको नहीं वो मुझे सबसे ज्यादा हेल्प करता है व्हाट आई डिड देयर
बिल्कुल सर।
दैट इज हेल्पिंग मी ठीक है ना इसलिए वो चूको नहीं
दादा सबसे
Yes.
ज्यादा काम किया है। सबसे पहला स्टूडेंट था ना, दादा सबसे ज्यादा काम किया है।
नहीं, आपकी स्टोरीज तो सर बोलते रहते हैं, मतलब बहुत सारे मीटिंग में स्टार्टिंग होता है या सर के साथ गप्पे स्टार्ट होता है भास्कर सर के साथ, तो शाहरुख भैया का नाम सर मतलब बोलते
हाँ।
रहते हैं स्टोरीज ही
हाँ भास्कर सर मैं
शुरुआत
जब यहाँ
के दिन।
ज्वाइन किया तो सर ने मुझे मैसेज किया कॉल किया सब कुछ किया दैट इज देयर और आप सब जो बैठते हो ना इनोवेशन लैब दैट वाज द टी लैब डू यू नो
वो बैठते थे, हमें वहां से हटा दिया गया।
हटा दिया गया